Let's begin with COVID relief in the US. The legislation there hangs in the balance.
Yes, well, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. Look, Donald Trump has three options, or there are three scenarios. He could back down by tonight, and the COVID bill, as is, will go forward, and millions of Americans will continue to get relief, not to mention the other measures in the bill, including no surprises in your medical charges and COVID relief for people about to be thrown out of their homes and apartments and the like. So he could also veto the bill, which triggers two things. The House and the Senate then have to come up with two-thirds majority to override the veto, or enough Republicans have to agree with him to sustain the veto. So he could do that. So, and the third option, I think, is probably very attractive to the president. And it's where he does nothing, does absolutely nothing. It's called a pocket veto, and in 10 days the bill dies. And he leaves it to Joe Biden to do the next thing.
Clean up the mess.
Yeah, so, you know, he only has these three options. And the one thing about Donald Trump is that he's unpredictable, but we know he's unpredictable. So we can probably look at those options. What he's doing right now, and I can't believe he's ever waded through a 5,000-page bill. I mean, who has, as a matter of fact? I think it's going to be easier for him to do nothing. But keep in mind that COVID bill is attached to the government spending bill. It means that there won't be any money after December 28th to pay anybody, so the agencies will go on furlough and things like that. So he'll close the government down. He's already vetoed the defense bill. That's $744 billion to go to the armed forces, which hasn't been vetoed in 59 years. So Washington is grinding to a halt. Now, there are going to be a lot of angry people here, and will they be angry enough to vote against Republicans in Georgia? Now, if the Georgia Senate race goes over to the Democrats, then Joe Biden can do what he wants. If it stays the way it is, then the Republicans are in control. But this might be Trump's last revenge, actually.
He has found time to issue a lot of pardons of late. We saw, you know, some of his allies, Roger Stone, his former campaign manager, they've all received pardons. Who else could we expect to likely get a nice little nod from the president before?
Yes, all presidents issue pardons. In his 8 years, President Obama issued 212 plus 1,715 commutations. That's reducing sentences. And the president has been busy. I think he's had about 60 or 70 of these things, and we're going to see a few more. Essentially, he is commuting and pardoning people who were identified by the Mueller campaign. That's when they tried to nail the president for collusion and obstruction of justice, both of which were found wanting. And so this might be his chance to vindicate himself. There's a very interesting figure here. He's an Australian guy, and this Julian Assange is close to Roger Stone and Vladimir Putin and all the rest of it. And there is a rumor in Washington that on that list of 517 people he's looking at, and there are 14,000 people who applied for a pardon. But, you know, your chances of getting a pardon that way are like a snowball.
Do you think Julian Assange could be next?
I think we got a surprise here, because if he forgives Julian Assange, or if he's protected from prosecution, then Julian Assange gets to go back to Australia, and he doesn't have to give testimony against Roger Stone or anybody else who was colluding at that time. So I think that would be the perfect trifecta for the president. He's got everybody else off the hook. So if he gets Julian Assange off the hook, that all further investigations against WikiLeaks comes to a close. So I think that would be very clever on his part. And it's not out of the realm of possibility, because I think you recall during that campaign that Trump was saying a lot of pleasant things about Julian Assange, about WikiLeaks, and let it come. And I think he might be doing this because it would stifle the Democratic leadership when they take office on January 20th, because they're going to come after everybody again if they can. The other thing, too, is we hear the rumors that he's going to preemptive pardon for his children, his two sons and his daughter, and his son-in-law. And, of course, there's the great mystery pardon. Will he pardon himself? Well, there's nothing in the Constitution that says you can't really pardon yourself. On the other hand, you know, people say this doesn't make any sense. You know, I think the day that Napoleon put the crown on his throne tells you that anybody can do anything they want. Because it's legal, he has the absolute power to do so. And it would go to that Supreme Court, which is now packed with his buddies. So he has a fighting chance at that. On the other hand, when these pardons are over and he leaves on January 20th, he'll probably face a lot of state prosecution and stuff like that, and charges, maybe criminal and civil charges. But, you know, I always say rich people don't go to jail.